channel. My name is Aaron Barker. Here is my mining resume. I am obsessed. So there we go. But seriously, welcome back. This is video number 2 in the series. My first video dealt with the top 3 strategies and why you should be involved in mining if you are in real estate or if you're wealthy from real estate. This is a video on how to maximize profit while mining. So I hope you all enjoy. I hope you all learned something from it. Let me know in the comments down below if you found it helpful or if there's anything I can be doing differently. Once again, we are back to the slideshow format. So let's check this out. This is how to maximize mining revenue. It's going to be something that's on everyone's mind. You're going to spend a lot of money to get this mining equipment. How do you get the best possible return? What are some strategies for doing that? What have I seen people do right and what have I seen people do wrong? And let me just say first up, there's no right or wrong answers, but there are definitely some stupid ones. So we'll talk about those too. But let's take a look at this. So quick overview, we're going to go through overall market strategies for maximizing revenue, optimal short-term profits and minimizing downside risk. I know that's a concern for a lot of people. And then conversion and other steps. So this will be a really quick video, but hopefully it's helpful. So overall market strategy. First thing is you got to ask yourself the question, are you mining to hold or are you mining to maximize your instantaneous revenue? Now, what do I mean by that? So if you're mining to hold, you might be someone who has really high conviction in, let's say, Bitcoin or Ethereum. You have seen them go up hundreds of percent year on year on year with the occasional bear market, but you know they're the future. You think they're going to go to the moon. It's just a matter of time. Well, then you should probably look to mine and hold. And we'll talk about how you do that in the best possible way. But essentially what you're doing is you're mining and you're keeping it and you never sell any of it. The secondary strategy, strategy B, is you're mining for instantaneous revenue. So there are times in mining where the revenue is really high. You can be making hundreds of dollars per day, $10,000 to $20,000 per month with a modest size setup. And, then it makes sense to de-risk or diversify your investments. If you're coming from any other investment background, that'll seem like a good idea. Maybe you want to move money to real estate, maybe you want to move it to stocks, maybe you want it for general living expenses, maybe mining is part of your retirement strategy and you just want it for that. So a couple of things. It depends on your conviction. So if you have high conviction, you might want to hold more of what you mine. It depends on whether or not you're running it as a business. So if you're running it as a business, all of this mining will be income, and then you'll have expenses in the form of fees, purchase of the equipment, depreciation, electricity, hosting, potentially your facility or a portion of your rent or your mortgage for this. And in that case, it can make some sense to sell some to keep your books right side up so that you can either declare some income if you want to use that in your company or not declare some income if you'd like to reduce your tax burden. So again, that depends on whether you're running it as a business or not and your strategy around that. So that's something to think of. And then lastly, it depends on whether or not you have external cash flow to fund your expenses. So let's say you have a very small mining setup, you have a couple of GPUs, your electricity bill is $100 a month more. As a result, hopefully you're in a position where your job can cover that cash flow, because if you think that Ethereum and Bitcoin or whatever coin you're mining are going to keep going up in future, then you're going to want to hold on to it, and selling even $100 of that per month if you expect it to go up in future is going to be painful. Just to cover your electricity costs. And then, of course, you're paying taxes on it as income anyway, but if you've made a capital gain, you're also going to pay taxes on that when you sell. So that's really one of the things you want to avoid, if at all possible, is selling to cover your cash flow needs. Hopefully you can get it from somewhere else. Understandably, if you're running a big mining farm and you have a $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 a month electricity bill come in and you can't quite cover that, then it can make sense to sell a portion of your cryptocurrency to cover it. So depends on your individual position. My advice would be, if you're mining to hold, you keep everything, you try to find the cash flow from somewhere else to cover that. If not, you sell just as much as you need to cover that cash flow need, and that's it. That is a strategy that I have seen work best for the most people. There are other ways of doing it, of course, but this is one that's proven successful in my case and in all my friends' cases down through the years. So that's what I would advise in that case. So, okay, we'll talk a little bit about mining and holding. So if you are mining and holding, my advice would be to just mine whatever asset you have the strongest conviction in. Let's say you're a huge Ethereum fan, you know that ETH 2.0 is coming up, you know the changes that's going to make to gas fees, how they're burned, the tokenomics of the whole thing. You think that the merge might potentially result in a deflationary supply, and you think the price is going to the moon. then just mine Ethereum and just hold it. Now, why is this a good strategy? Okay, so this works especially well if you want to be totally passive, if you want to reduce stress and anxiety, and you have a clear long-term vision for your investment. So I would say mining is really easy if all these three things are in place. If you want to be passive, which I think a lot of people with mining do, you want to reduce stress and anxiety because cryptocurrency can be stressful enough without constantly checking it, and you have a clear long-term vision for Ethereum, you don't mind if it's fluctuating up and down, this is a no-brainer strategy for me. You mine it, you hold it, and you just hold it until you reach whatever personal moon you want to be on, whether that's buying a house or a car or whatever your goal is, but you have a clear long-term vision for what that is. Maybe you never intend to sell. Maybe you think it is the future. We won't even think about things in terms of dollars anymore. Strategy A is for you. Mine it, hold it. When you're doing that, some of the other things are not so important. You have a really long-term vision, so the fees you pay on exchanges are going to be non-existent because you're not selling. You're going to pay less in gas fees because you're not converting. You're not cashing anything out for expenses, so you're not being hit with capital gains taxes. And it's really simple. Your books will be simple. Your life will be simple. And honestly, in the long term, for assets that have proven to continually appreciate at very high rates, you're going to see the best return. Now, that's my personal feeling. It works for me, works for a lot of people. It might not be your cup of tea, and that's fine. So let's talk about strategy B. So strategy B is all about maximizing revenues, and we can also call it the reinvestment path. So maybe you're not just looking to maximize your US dollar revenues right now. Maybe you're also thinking about reinvesting in mining rigs. Whoever you're buying them from isn't going to accept Bitcoin or Ethereum potentially, although, they might. And so you want some dollars to pay them so you can reinvest in rigs. Well, this is a second strategy you could use. So if you're mining to maximize revenues or your ability to reinvest, and this doesn't actually have to be reinvestment in mining, it could be, like we said, stocks, real estate, something else completely, beanie babies, who knows, trading cards. Then I would advise you mine whatever is most profitable at the time. And for that, you can check out whattomine.com or you can use NiceHash. Now, if you look on the internet, you will hear thousands of people shit-talking NiceHash, saying that they steal their profits, the fees are extremely high, this and that and the other thing. It's not true. It's been my experience. I've used NiceHash for probably 5 or more years. None of these things are true. I think they come out because a lot of new and inexperienced people use it. They don't understand how their earnings are calculated. They don't understand how some of these inner workings work, and they assume they're being taken advantage of when it's not the case. It is a really good platform. The profitability is consistently high, on par with or better than Ethereum, so definitely worth looking at. Another pro is that you get paid in Bitcoin rather than Ethereum, so if you want to be holding Bitcoin, that's also nice. And yet another pro is that the fees to exchange and withdraw from NiceHash are really low. So you can withdraw Bitcoin from NiceHash to Coinbase for about 50 cents or less. If you've done any Ethereum transactions, you'll know that they're not that cheap. Sometimes you're paying $20, $30, $40, $50 for a transaction. Definitely worth keeping in mind as well because the mining pool has to pay for that somehow. So either you're paying them or they're paying it and they're taking it out of your cut. So potentially you're saving money with NiceHash there. Again, totally fine. Go do your own research. Look at which one's more profitable. Try them both out. See how you feel about it. I don't have any skin in the game. You make your money however you want, but both of those, mining Ethereum directly and NiceHash, perfectly good options. It's worth keeping in mind when you do this that your hardware may be better at one algorithm than another, and that might dictate your choice of coin. I think that these days everyone is either mining with the latest or second latest AMD generation, which are the 5700 XTs, the 5600 XTs, or the 67, 68, 6900 XTs, which, in my opinion, not such a great choice, but people are using those. They're efficient and they work. Or you're using 20 or 30 series NVIDIA cards, so something like a 3060, Ti, 3070, 3080, 3090. They are extremely good at Ethereum mining, Ethash mining. They're also good at a couple of other coins, but your best path to profitability is going to be to optimize your settings for Ethereum mining. Maybe I'll make another video on how to do that. But that would be what I would recommend, is either mining Ethereum directly or mining just the Ethash algorithm on NiceHash. So occasionally on NiceHash, you may see profits jump around. You may see other coins be more profitable for a very brief period. Sometimes it's actually better to restrict your graphics cards to just mine Ethash because you know that that's what they're most efficient at, and you know that it has a very stable profit base, and so that works out well long term. It's also worth keeping in mind if you're going to switch around to whatever's most profitable, unless you're making minimum $10,000 a month, but more like $20,000 or $30,000 a month, it is not worthwhile to constantly switch your rigs around. It's just not. People do it. People optimize for the sake of $5, $10 a day or a week or a month. That is not worth it, in my opinion. You're spending a lot of money on this hardware. There are a lot of other things you could be doing with your time that are valuable. You shouldn't be spending it on optimizing this unless you're really making a lot of money and it's really going to make a difference. If you're at the $30,000 a month level and it could make a plus or minus $5,000 a month difference and you really like doing it, by all means go ahead. If you're below that, I would say don't bother. Just use NiceHash. Just mine Ethereum. You're wasting your time otherwise. The other thing to add on that, and I've been harping on this a lot with NiceHash and Ethereum, but they really do consistently represent the best overall profits over long time scales. So I've been doing this for almost 10 years, been mining for about a decade, and I see this over and over and over again. You'll get these coins du jour. They'll be great for a day, 2 days, a week. People jump on them, and then the profitability goes out the window. Maybe the price of the coin goes up, down, sideways. But these are very brief opportunities, and you need to actually be mining quite a lot to get all of it mined, get it to an exchange, swap it out, and you need to be checking every day to constantly do that. So unless, again, you're at a big scale, it may not be worth doing, and these are the two highest profitability pathways in general. Now, conversion. Okay, so let's say you're mining something and it's not the coin you have conviction in. It's just the most profitable at the time. This can be an important step if you're looking to maximize your short-term revenue. So this could be converting to dollars if you just want dollars for expenses or for reinvestment or for whatever, or it could be from, let's say, Bitcoin to Ethereum or vice versa. And in general, I would recommend you do that on an exchange with low fees, something like Coinbase Pro, Bitfinex, Binance, whatever your platform of choice is, but make sure they have low fees. You can look to do this conversion at a time when it's optimal price-wise for you. But again, that's kind of like trying to time the market. That doesn't always work out. Not everyone is able to do that successfully. In fact, the vast majority of people cannot. So, it might make sense just to convert what you need at the time that you need to, try to pay the lowest fees possible, and just accept that you may not be optimizing your overall long-term profit by doing so. You're also going to have tax implications in those conversions too, so that's something to bear in mind. If you really do need to do it, you are going to have to do some extra bookkeeping. So like I said, it's difficult to predict the market, it's difficult to time the market, but a few general strategies that can work for this are, one, you could cash out only enough to cover your expenses like electricity. You could cash out whenever you have enough to reinvest in new equipment. So let's say you make $20,000 worth of Ethereum. The market's pretty buoyant, Ethereum's up. You want some more mining rigs to have more mining revenue and more assets. You could cash some of that out to dollars and buy some more. That might make sense depending on your individual case. Or you can cash it all out as soon as you earn it. And for these people, I really ask, what are you even doing in crypto? If you don't have long-term positive belief in crypto and the asset prices involved, you're playing a game of musical chairs, and that has got to be making you so anxious. And really, there's probably better ways for you to make money in something that you have conviction in. Maybe not better ways to make money, but if you don't have some conviction at least to hold some cryptocurrency, yes, it can still be lucrative. Yes, you can still make really high returns, but if your conviction isn't there, this is going to be a game that's going to really stress you out. So just something to be aware of and think to yourself, why am I doing this? What's my long-term goal? If I'm going to cash it all out to dollars, am I going to miss out on huge gains, or is it a risk reduction strategy? Not saying you can't do it, but it's worth being self-aware of why you're doing that. So that is everything I have. Hopefully that helps in how to make profit when you're mining. Maximize your profits. I will have another video that will delve into a little more detail on the mechanics of how to do this if you're newer to mining. But for people that have maybe been mining for a while and haven't thought about this, then hopefully this helps. Let me know in the comments down below. Not going to ask you to smash the like button or any of that crap. And I'm out. Thank you.